All right, so today I managed to get in the mail a package from Bloat Games, which is out of Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't know you were down there, Eric. It's kind of cool. It's not too far. I live up in Michigan, obviously. So, first of all, I did cut the package open. I did glance at the book a little bit, make sure it wasn't damaged or anything before doing this. But the packaging, it's just real simple box, and then he wrapped it in some foam. Um, I'm assuming he did it himself, unless it comes from a distributor. I don't know, but it's the soft cover, and you'll see that not a single dent is in this. Very, very well done. Look at that. Look at that. Um, so yeah. Anyways, this book is fantastic. I've watched a ton of reviews dating as far back as the Kickstarter, back in September and August. Undead Viking did one. He did a really good one. I'm a big fan of Undead Viking. I'm not a big board gamer, but I watched a video a long time ago about him where he ran D&D for his daughter. I think she was 6 at the time, so it was probably 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. But anyways, he ran this game for his 10-year-old daughter, his wife, and he obviously ran it. And he said that it was a ton of fun. So, I knew back then that I wanted this book. So yeah, anyways, it is everything you can imagine. So the premise is that you play as a bunch of teenagers in an 80s setting, 1980s. So think like any movies from the 1980s. Think Stranger Things. You could replay that, for example, which is what I actually am kind of excited about, because I know a lot of people who don't play role playing games who love that show. So maybe this could break them into RPGs. But think of like the Karate Kid. Doesn't really have any paranormal stuff, but you could add it, or you could just get rid of the paranormal part of it. You have ET. And I don't know if you can do it. I'm sure you can with just some tweaks. I'm not sure, but which obviously they just did the remake of the movie, but I think that would be a lot of fun. There's just so many things you can do. So, old Stephen King movies, things like that. The book, I really like it. There's a picture of the two covers right here. This cover, hardcover in red, looks amazing. It is gorgeous from what I've seen online. I would totally shell out. Now, I need to double check and see if that was just a Kickstarter thing. I don't know if it was. It says Kickstarter exclusive. But yeah, if I can get my hands on one of those bad boys, whoo. Yeah, because that was nice. He gives a nice little shout out to Frank Menser, Gary Gygax, Dave Arneson, Larry Elmore, throwback shout outs, and all the Kickstarter backers. Now, this is an OSR product, so it does use an older system. And then he has his own rules for breaking items. You start at, a D12, D20, whatever the item is. And then if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it lowers a die type until a D4. And then basically the item is broken. So I think that's pretty cool. I haven't played it. I haven't seen it in use yet. But in theory, I think that sounds really cool. So yeah. So I love it. I love the classes in here. Kid scientist, nerd, geek, jock, extreme athlete, karate kid, break dancer, goth, metalhead, preppy, the princess, teen heartthrob, bully, the hood, punk rocker. Like, that's just awesome. Those are just so good. And I was looking at some of the bad guys and stuff, and there's a lot of things you can do with this. Just so many things. Aliens, Chupacabra, which is what Undead Viking used, was the Chupacabra. Gremlins, Mischief, the killer of your dreams. Oh, sorry, Gremlins, Masters of Mischief, the killer of your dreams. Phantom Fairlane, the Pope Lick Monster, the Silver Bullets, Son of the Mothman, Terror the Clawed, Menace, Terror the Clawed Menace. Ugh. Taylor's Lake Monster. Teenage Werewolf in J-Town. Human Adversaries and Allies. Burglar, Thief, Bruiser. Common People. Which is cool because, again, that means you could play without paranormal stuff, really. Just play it as like an 80s action movie or 80s teen film. Uh, Cult Leader Necromancer, Guard Policeman. Soldier, Veteran, SWAT Team, Soviet Spy. Ninja. Three Ninjas, anybody? I know that was in the 90s, but come on. Monsters, Angels and Demons, Banshee, Bigfoot, Boogeyman, Devourer of Memories, Dire Beasts, Doppelganger, Dryad, Elementals, Frogman, Ghoul, Golems, Gorgon, Medusa, Hellhound, Lich, Owlbear, Rodents of Unusual Size, Skeleton, Spiders, Giant, Vampire, White, Warg, Wraith, Yeti, Animals, then a bunch of animals, a bunch of other stuff, random monster generation tables. I mean, there's some cool stuff in here. Really cool stuff. One of the things I liked in flipping through here too, that I noticed, he has a lot of pictures of like, um, I think it's old high school friends and stuff. Probably a bunch of people who worked on this with him in the front, which I'm surprised. I actually thought he did most of this himself, and maybe he did, but there's a lot of shout outs in the front, like a lot of credits. Eric Bloat, Josh Palmer, Jason Shane, Anthony Hunter, Bill Logan, Jonathan Meadows, Tommy Stamper. I know some of these artists, so that's kind of cool. Bradley K. McDevitt, Jeremy Hart, Shaman Stockart, Joe Singleton, J.E. Shields. I know him. Dan Smith, Eric Bloat, Nicola Avramovic. I don't even know how to say that. Miguel Santos, T. Glenn Bain, Luigi Castellani, Jeff Jones, which I may have said already. But yeah, and I will admit this. So this product, right? I mean, like the font type is really cool. I really like this. It's really easy to read. Some pages are bigger than, or some pages the font's a little bigger than others, but it's like, I mean, you can tell it's an indie published book, which isn't a bad thing at all. Actually, I like it. And the thing is even in glancing through here, the one thing I did not see a lot of that I see in Paizo books and other books is typos and spelling errors and things like that. Now, I'm not saying it's error free or errorless, but sometimes that stuff bothers me, when it seems like a bigger company who has probably quite a bit of editing and things like that has errors. It kind of bothers me. But I don't see any in here. Here's like your character sheet, which, yeah, look at that. I mean, it's real simple, but it looks cool. Looks real simple. Looks easy to handle. I don't see any issues there. Attribute bonus chart, wounds, random backgrounds. Each one of these things kind of gives you something or takes away something. So, for example, you can have like an unnatural fear of cats, or you grew up next to the river or lake and are an excellent swimmer, athletic skill at +2. So that's kind of cool. So a lot of cool things for your background. It does say it's optional, but I love that. Your character has a pop culture obsession with Star Wars. Here's a good one. This would be perfect for me. Your character has a pop culture obsession with the WWF and pro wrestling. Oh, yeah. So, like I was saying, pictures of, some of his friends and things like that. So I thought that was cool. What else? What else? Like I said, the classes seem pretty interesting. I think this would be a fun game. My daughter is 6. I feel like she could probably handle a game like this. I mean, I would have to simplify it a little bit. So rather than having like attributes and the modifiers on there, I'd probably just have to show the modifiers. Get rid of some of the stuff on there and not use the optional background rules. Oh, excuse me. I could see myself playing this with her though quite a bit. I think she would really enjoy it. Skills. So it's got some different skills: wrestling, video games. So considering it's 80s, I mean, we got to be talking about like Atari and Nintendo. That's about it. Science, ranged weapons, persuasion, paranormal, outdoormanship, mechanics, math, martial arts, language, knowledge, investigation, intimidation, electronics, first aid, driving, dancing, cooking, computer skill, which should be rare for the 80s. Brawling, basic athletics, art and music. Especially for teenagers in the 80s. I don't think computers were very common back then. In fact, they weren't even common. Let's see. The first computer I had, or my family had, was in 95. I remember us having it, and we had Windows 95. It was all set up on our dining room table. And my mom was like trying to install everything and figure out how to get past, like, beyond DOS, because that's what you did when you turned it on. You had to, do CD dot or CD colon. I can't even remember. But I remember having to go through DOS to find my directory of games in there and then figure out which one I was going to play. Exit.exe. And yeah, anyways, these are cool. Okay, yeah, so video games. You are awesome at Atari and any other video game you play, as well as pinball machines. Nice. I didn't think about arcade games. That's cool. There any Big Trouble in Little China flavor in there too? Not really. Most of the stuff in here is mostly teenagers. It's assuming your characters are high schoolers. I think it's heavily inspired by Stranger Things, but then I think they felt, and again, I don't know. Maybe I'll have Eric Bloat on here. In fact, Eric Bloat, if you're watching this, I'd love to interview you. Maybe I can ask you more about the inspiration on things. We can answer questions like that. Maybe you have something in the works for some more 80s style gaming. But no, I didn't see anything for that. It's pretty much any kind of teen movie from the 80s. So weapons and equipment are cool. So okay, so I'm assuming it's the usage die that's the special mechanic. I haven't found that in here yet. Oh, nice. So he does have some different OSR products that he promotes in here, so that's kind of cool. That you can download over at Drive-Thru RPG. So that's kind of cool. One of them is Skyscrapers and Sorcery, and the other one is White Lies, a role-playing game about doing bad things for good reasons. Interesting. It has some sample characters. That's cool. I wish more games did this. The fact that you could basically just print these out, cut them up, and hand them out as pre-gens is awesome. So that's cool. I like that. Let's see. Okay, so they are all teenagers, it looks like. Age 15, age 18. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't try to run Big Trouble in Little China. It would just take some tweaking on your part. Just adjust some things. I mean, it's OSR, so it's old D&D type rules. It adds a attribute for survival. I don't fully know how that works yet. I think you spend a survival point, and you get to basically have advantage when you do that. You can only do it once, like on a roll, and you have to take the second roll. And then once you do that, you lose that point. Well, you can gain, I think, 1 point a day or something like that. I think that's how it works. I'm not fully sure because I haven't read the book yet. I just got it, but I have skimmed through it. So I've heard some people in reviews talk about this. It's 80s versus today, and it compares things like phone. So in the 80s, phone books and dictionaries. Now, searching online. In the 1980s, photo albums. Today, backing up photos to the cloud. I don't do that. I don't use cloud. 80s, old lady hair buns. Today, man buns. 80s, MTV. Today, YouTube. 80s, arcades. Today, gaming at home. Okay, so this is something I didn't realize. And I don't know if that's true of everywhere, but maybe it is. 1980s. Stores closed on Sundays and limited hours on weekdays or weekends. Today, 24-hour stores. Um, when I lived on the west side of the state, there were stores and stuff that were closed on Sundays. And yes, definitely limited hours on weekends. That's still the case. In fact, we went to go to the library today and it closed at 5. I was really disappointed because I wanted to see if they had any books about role playing games. Not any system books, but just like, you know, biographies or whatever. So I thought that would be cool. Um, Blockbuster video stores, Netflix or Redbox. Interesting. I love it. That's cool. Oh, more fun pictures. Woo! I do like the art in here. Game Masters section. House rules. Time and turns. Rules and rulings. Running the game. Movement. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a really easy game to run. Um, so I think I think this will be a lot of fun. I want to see where that one rule is in here. I haven't found it yet. Pyrotechnics. Oh, more fun pictures, more flavor pics. Yeah, computers were pretty basic back then, lol. I had a game I had to back up on audio cassette. How do you back a game up on audio cassette? I didn't even know that was possible. I know floppy disks, but yeah, I don't know how you would do it on a cassette. Hmm. Oh, these are monsters. Oh, the monsters look nice. I like some of these monsters. Like, look at this art. That's really cool. I mean, that's the same picture, just flipped, but that's still cool. I like that. So okay, I love this type of art. It's like grayscale. I think that's what it's called, grayscale. Love that. Love it. Mike Muma for Palladium Books has some art like that, and I just love it. He did one of my favorite modules or whatever adventures that I ever saw for a game was for Palladium Books Heroes Unlimited. And maybe I'm biased because it's just that was like one of my favorite games. But this module spanned 2 rifters, and it was like Super's Registration Act. I tried to run the campaign on my channel, and we had trouble lining up schedules, but the artwork was phenomenal, and I think most of it was done by Mike. Um, but yeah, gosh, good stuff. Maybe I'll look that up in a second too. Basic adventure hooks. A group of frogmen have been spotted by the river. Oh, see, and you could do it completely random. This is such an easy game. I think you could just do a lot of it just randomly with these tables. That'd be sweet. It was pretty silly. It was on the TSR 80 color computer. I don't even know what that is, man. I was born in 85. So for me, the 80s were a very short amount of my time. Oh man, this is great. I love these pictures, dude. Absolutely love these pictures, these memories of yours. I can only imagine the stories for some of these. J-Town setting guide, an optional setting. Northwestern J-Town, the geography of J-Town. That's cool. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I'm excited to see what I can do with this game. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Here we go. One of his other games, or their other games from Bloat Games. So that one looks cool. Whoa, the Vigilante hack. I think they have a DM's guide of that too. Then the appendix. Wow. Wow, Eric. Awesome picture. Oh, that is good stuff. Yeah, look at all the people thanked. That's so cool. The one-shot group on Facebook. And all the playtesters. That's cool. Totally tubular dudes and dudettes. Recommended film and television in the back. Wow, look at all this. Those are recommended movies and shows. That's great. Oh my gosh, recommended music. Yes. To get you in the mood, make your playlists, things like that. That is so cool. I bet you there's groups and stuff in here that I don't even know. Wow. That's awesome. Well, that's cool. Thank you to everyone who took time to review, run playtests, and spread the word for this game. Hmm, that's really cool. That's so awesome. I love it. But yeah, so there we go. I'm even going to show this. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can. All those awesome people you can check out. That's cool. I love it. So I'll show you guys the back again. So I'm trying not to get the glare on here. My lighting does that. It's really bright. And then I'll show you the front again. Very nice. I think it really captures the feel. I think the artwork totally fits the book. Um, I can see why people are excited about this. It is. Oh, yep. Okay, so here it is. Usage die. Nothing lasts forever. Even things once forged from the hardest material can break or fail on you, often at the most inopportune times. Therefore, all items, unless otherwise noted below, starts with a D10 usage dice. Any item listed in the equipment section is considered frail, consumable, or limited item. When that item is used, the next minute turn, its usage die is rolled. If the roll is a 1 through 3, then the usage die is downgraded to the next lower die in the following chain: D20, D12, D10, D8, D6, D4. When you roll a 1 or 2 on a D4, the item is expended and the character has no more of it left. That is cool. That is a really cool mechanic, I will say. Um, and it's kind of fitting. It's like, oh, how many times have you seen those movies where, like, say they're using a gun or something, and I'm assuming a gun is an item in here. Not under simple weapons. It must be on like advanced weapons or something. I would totally give it a usage die though, rather than ammunition, and maybe start it at like a D6 or something. Because how many times in movies have you seen, like, oh my gosh, they're about to shoot the bad guy, right? And then it's click, oh crap, it's out of ammo. Like, I think that is totally how I would use a usage die. Um, Now it does not tell you all items unless otherwise noted below. Starts with the D10 usage die. That's cool. I mean, there's obviously no reason as a DM you couldn't change the usage die. Making it higher or lower than what it says. So, like some of these things, like a flashlight is a D6, which is perfect. Rations, gas can, torches, canteen, quiver of arrow bolts. Those are all like D6s and D8s. And so then everything else is a D10. So that's cool. I like it. I really do like it. I think this is a cool game. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing if I can find some people to play it. So hopefully I can, and I'll put it up on my channel, whether it's an in-person game or not. So, and one thing I want to say is I'm hoping to do more unboxings and reviews in the future. I have a lot of books that aren't getting a ton of use right now, unfortunately, but I feel like if I review them, maybe it'll help me find players for the game, and also just spread good word about some of these games, because obviously I love my Heroes Unlimited books. Would love to start cracking those open again. Dragon Age. I have my Fantasy Age in the other room because I was reading up on it, because I plan on running a game soon for that. Let's see. Over here, I've got Rifts, Palladium Fantasy, second edition D&D, Pathfinder, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with that because I'm probably not gonna play Pathfinder again. But I do like some of the campaign setting books, and then I have obviously Savage Rift, Savage Worlds, their fantasy book, their superheroes, their sci-fi. So got some good stuff there. Don't think I'm gonna really play Savage Worlds much either, but you never know. Maybe I'll find somebody local that plays it and give that a crack again. But once again, Dark Places and Demogorgons, go check it out. This is the quintessential book. The from what I've seen, this is the best thing out there if you want to run a 1980s themed teen game. Stranger Things, Karate Kid, E.T., Goonies. Maybe you could even play a high school version of Nerds. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. You could play there was a movie where like China had invaded like the West Coast. I bet you could play a high school version of that too, since it's got like Soviets and soldiers in it and stuff. You can play a game like that. Maybe what was the other book? There was that book, Lord of the Flies or whatever, where it's all the kids on the island or whatever. You could totally play something like that with this. I don't know what Monster Squad is. Yes, Red Dawn. That was what I was thinking of. What else could you do with this? I'm just trying to think of all the cool things. I really think this is a perfect system and book for it. Obviously there's probably other systems out there that can do it. I just think this book, one, it's so simple, very easy. It looks like to pick up and play. If you've played any D&D, D20 games, I think this is going to be your bread and butter, to emulate it. And it doesn't look like anything has a lot of hit dice or hit points. It just seems like a fun game. Yeah, it's Home Alone. Dude, you could totally play Home Alone with this. You're shooting your BB gun. Oh shoot, my usage die is a D4. Crap, I rolled a 2. Didn't work. Oh crap, the kidnappers got me. But Home Alone, if you're trying to play like a mock of the old Nintendo game Paperboy, you could probably do it with this. Yeah, it might be I honestly don't. So, okay, so you guys can't see this. So Micah People says, it sounds like even if you use a different system for 80s, it'd be a huge resource. I think it could be a resource, but ultimately I think this would be the best system to use. And when I say that it could be a resource, there's, that section that talks about the 80s to now. I think that's good, especially for a lot of people who haven't played who weren't around in the 80s. So I think that could be helpful. And the other thing is the backgrounds. I think the backgrounds are huge. I think that would be very helpful. Even just inspiration, some of the tables. So, I mean, it could be helpful if you're just looking to play an 80s game with another system and you want this for some inspiration. It could definitely work. But ultimately, I would just recommend just using this. I don't even think you need anything else. If you want something that's from the 80s, that's more adult, you might want to add some things to it. Maybe Bloat Games is doing that already. If not, they should. Because, again, there's some cool stuff in here. But you could totally expand on this to capture action movies of the 80s. Your movies like Predator and Total Recall and whatever else there was back then that I can't think of. Conan, no, not Conan. Conan just captured with a fantasy thing, but things like that you could totally capture with something like that. But yeah. So, anyways, again, go check this out. Bloat Games. You can find them on Drive-Thru RPG. I believe they have a website. I want to say it's bloatgames.com. Surprised it's not on the front here. I'm surprised they don't have anything about their website, actually, that I can see. Get your website and your books. You got to get your website in here. Good stuff. But yeah, I would check out Bloat Games. You could probably just do a Google search and find it, or in any of the RPG communities on Facebook or Google Plus. Look up Bloat Games or Eric Bloat. I'm sure Eric Bloat has no problem answering your questions, telling you where you can order these things. Yeah, where else? I'm not seeing anything. There's nothing in here about his website, unfortunately, or where his preferred place is. Obviously, I don't know the setup exactly, but if you order through Drive Through RPG, you can get the PDF. It might have a print on demand option. If not, there's websites like Lulu, I think, is one of them, or whatever. There's other print on demand websites that you can look up. As long as you put the PDF in, they'll ship it to you. You know, it costs money. The other thing you can do is buy the PDF, go to Office Max, Staples, whatever, get it printed, spiral bound. The thing I will say that, like I said earlier, there are some things in here that I would totally love to have the PDF for, and that's the tables, so you can make a DM screen, as well as the pre-gens. So they have the examples of characters, which I'll show you again. These are examples of characters. So you could print it out, cut it out, and then laminate it, and then give it to players as pre-gens, which would be cool. So very cool book. Thank you, Eric and Bloat Games. Love it. Definitely has me interested in more of your products. So it does the trick. It's a simple, really nice book, really good quality too. I mean, this is good. I'm sure over time, just like my other paperback books, this will start to curl and stuff like that. But that's good. That's a sign of a good book. That means you're using it. So definitely go check it out. Dark Places and Demogorgons. Good book. Thanks, guys. Peace.